oftentimes the beauty, we're a unique situation because each one of us have our own property. So we weren't dependent on the homestead, right? And so my brother, when he relocated back here, he stayed there for roughly 2 or 3 years. And then he bought a house for him to determine where he really wanted to live. And he found the need. He was like, I need a disconnect. As a farm manager, I don't want to farm 24/7. He was like, I get up in the morning, I go farm, I'm, out here till at night. But now he gets up, he goes, he works, and at 5 o'clock, he's back home. So he needed that disconnect. And so that's the beauty of, in most families, not all cases, everybody has their own dwelling, right? They either renting or they own their own property. For us, we own our own property. We have our own houses. So we did not need to use the farm truck. We did not live in the main homestead because, I need a place to live and I want to live there for free. I mean, even myself, I sold one of my houses. I moved into the farmstead for 3 months till my house was ready. My other house was ready. But I actually paid rent because it's a business, right? When you think about your property as a business, it is a business because you have 5 investors. And so my other 2 brothers, they really were hands off, they can come to the farm at any given time, but they know when they do things or they come, they know like, hey, I need to borrow the truck. Fine, you need to borrow a truck, pick the truck up, bring it back. The expectation is when you have standards, requirements, and expectations and they're outlined, then it's no problem. You use the truck, you put gas in it, and you bring it back. It's filled when you leave it, you bring it back filled, right? You treat it, it's a business, right? I wrote a check to the farm to state. People's like, why you wrote it? I'm like, yeah, it's a business, right? And so anything that I need, if I want to rent the space out for an event, I rent it out and I pay for it, just like, everybody else. So the understanding is that whole place takes care of itself. So the money that's made goes right back in to the developments, the infrastructure to grow to the next phase, whatever, because we have our own, as they say, God bless the child who has their own. Well, we all have our own. So it's not like we need to depend on the revenue coming off that farm for us to live. We all have full-time jobs. My brother's retired military. So again, we see it going back into the farm. And so when you can show and you're very transparent, I will outline what the projects are going to be, or I keep people informed. So when you do that, there is no misconceptions about, somebody's, it's very clear. It's very evident, right? So people have access to you can look at the accounts to see what's in the accounts, right? So when you're fully transparent, you have nothing to hide. So then there's no room for, who's doing something that they're not supposed to, something that's unethical. Everything's done with integrity and fidelity. But, that's why say that? But he was hands off, right? And so, my father recognized that, and that's why he put the 3, my sister, myself, and my youngest brother in charge. So that's how that worked. And so we basically are 3 that makes the decisions. And if there's something at the end of the year and we want to give a stipend or we want to give a dividend, you can do that, right? You have that autonomy to do that.